Welcome to match 5 of this, the inaugural European Cricket League, a new concept to wake up the sleeping giant of European cricket. And we've now got another team entering the fray, and not just any old team, a team that have come from the heart of Transylvania. It is V.O.C. Rotterdam, who earlier won against Cluj, the French champions. Against Cluj, we start in under 10 minutes, and Ryan Campbell is alongside me.
Hello, mates. Good afternoon to everyone, and good evening, wherever you are around the world. It seems to be the occurrence of these matches are getting faster and faster, and the passion continues to rise. And as we can see, the game just previously was an absolute cracker, and we expect nothing less from the V.O.C. team, who are rated as the #1 seeds, and Cluj, like you say, from the heart of Dracula Town, Transylvania.
Oh, he's already starting with the
I can't
puns.
wait. I've been waiting for this.
Goodness gracious me. For now, earlier this week, I've been shooting a few previews of the teams across La Manga. But for the Cluj preview, we did it out on the pitch. Have a look at what I had to say about the men from Vampire. Cluj are travelling from the heart of Transylvania to join us here at the Rachel Hayhoe Flint Oval. Their president, Pavel Florin, will be the first ever Romanian to play in the ECL. He's also a trained bodyguard, so don't mess with him. This team's also held together by two brilliant Indian all-rounders. Simranjit Singh scores his runs at almost 2 a ball and is handy with the ball in hand too. There's Vasu Saini. What a story this is. He met the love of his life in Romania, moved there, in his first season won 3 trophies, was man of the match in 2 finals, and now we'll see how he goes in the ECL. Follow it on ECN.cricket. That's quite right. ECN.cricket certainly is the place to follow things wherever you are across the world. We're also on TV in more than 100 countries. For now, let's go to the coin toss.
All right, now it's game 5. Can't believe how fast this game is going, and this day is almost coming to an end. It's the second last game of the day, and to my left are the 2 captains. We've got Peter Sela, winning captain of the opening match, and of course he has that fresh in his memory, I'm sure. And we have Cluj from Romania, Cluj Cricket Club. We have the captain, and I have his name bang on, Arun Kumar Chandrasekharan, right? Okay, well, Arun, it's going to be your call. So what do you want? Heads or tails?
Heads.
If you could do the honors. It's tails. Okay, so Peter's won the toss. Yeah. Kind of a flashback of what happened in the morning, and what is your decision?
We're going to have a bowl again.
Okay, and why so? In the morning you weren't sure what a pass score total is going to be, and now what do you think?
I still think with the small boundaries it's a very good ground to chase it, and we are very confident that no matter what they put up on the board, we're gonna be better at it.
Yeah, I mean, you did put up a really good and very solid batting performance. Any change in the team, or it's going to be the same?
No, we don't have any changes because we've won, so you're not going to change the winning team. The one thing I will say is that hopefully we can improve on our garbage extras because we bowled a lot of wides, and hopefully we can be better at that this game. Yeah,
and of course the conditions have changed. First game, there was a lot of dew, wet outfield, a lot of swing, and now it looks pretty flat.
Yeah. As you said, it looks pretty flat. The bounce is pretty good. I think it's got even more even. So I think, like I said this morning, 100 will be about par. But I think Cluj is going to try and be better than that.
And you guys have never competed together, right, against each other? No. Do you know about their players? Is there anybody you especially want to target or look out for, or the other way around?
No, not yet, but we're going to find out pretty soon.
Well, it will be a really interesting match. Thank you very much. Okay, Arun, well, you get to bat first.
Yeah, anyway, that's what we were looking to do.
Okay, that was your plan?
Yeah.
Okay, and who are your opening batsmen, and any particular plan you're coming up with?
Just putting the runs on the board.
Yeah.
Wicket is quite flat, as you could see since the morning it's changed. Yeah. And would like to put the runs on the board, and we know how to restrict the total.
Yeah. Well, Peter said about 100 is par total, but we have seen a team score a lot more. So what would you be comfortable with?
Anything over 100 is a quite par score. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much, and wish you all the best.
Thank you.
And well, with that, I have to just recap a little bit of what happened. Our V.O.C. Rotterdam won the toss and has elected to bowl first.
So, it worked for them in game 1, and they have chosen not to change it. V.O.C. Rotterdam electing to chase to ground with very small boundaries. Seems like a pretty sensible call.
what I don't like is that Peter Saylor keeps winning the toss, because for the Dutch, he never wins the toss, and I don't want him to waste all his luck here. So that worries me, that he's winning the toss way too often on a side note, but not surprising. Again, I think there's I guess a feeling of when you play against a team that they don't know, and of course Cluj they wouldn't have seen a lot of, except for your preview, of course, but you don't quite know how many's enough. You don't quite know what to expect, so you go with your strength and you go with your bowling staff, and you go, okay, let's set the tone early and let's see what we can chase.
Taranjit Singh and Vasu Saini, the two key players for Cluj. V.O.C. Rotterdam aside with a few slightly more familiar names. We should reiterate, for those who didn't watch the first game, we've got 3 Dutch internationals in this team. Max O'Dowd, who hit the first 50 of the brand new ECL earlier on. A 50 that started quite slowly and then rapidly escalated. Scott Edwards, the wicket-keeper, and also Peter Saylor.
Yeah, they're 3 of the guys who have really put Dutch cricket into a position of being the 13th ODI country in the world, and again, we'll be going to the World Cup qualifiers in the T20, and hopefully we can qualify for that as well. And those 3 in particular will hold a very big, have to play a very big part, especially being in Dubai, where Peter's obviously his leg spin. Max O'Dowd plays spin quite well, and so does Scott Edwards. So 3 important guys, but don't discount the rest of the V.O.C. outfit. They got some good quality players who generally have they chip in club cricket. When you need it the most, they generally stand up. So I look forward to contributions from all sorts of guys from that lineup.
V.O.C. Rotterdam, arguably the favourites for this tournament, certainly based on my pre-tournament research. We saw Svanholm have a very strong performance earlier on against Dreux, who are all but knocked out now, having lost a couple of games. So the only team that could potentially stop, realistically, Rotterdam or Svanholm making the semi-finals now is the Romanian champions, Cluj, who are stepping out now. Yeah,
well, I'm looking forward to seeing what they got. Obviously, in the preview, they've got a couple of very good players. Again, they're going to be looking at, okay, so what do we need to score here? Obviously, in the games, we've had some fluctuations in scores, so to speak. The last game, an absolute cracker between the Italians and the Spaniards, where 119 was not even close to being defended. So, again, it comes down to partnerships. If you get a couple of good guys going and they bat for a period of time, it can take the pressure away from your middle order. And once you're in, runs can flow on a nice batting surface. And as we've spoken about a number of times, pretty small boundaries.
Piers Fletcher will open the bowling from our end of the ground, the Las Acacias end, in relation to the lovely acacia trees that we've got behind us, as Peter Saylor and his Dutch national team coach next to me, Ryan Campbell, are having a bit of communication in sign language, and the Romanian batsmen are getting ready. At the non-strikers end, we've got number 3, Satwik Natigotla. And we'll just confirm the striker as soon as we get a look at the back of his shirt. Of course, the nature of T10 in particular is that batting orders are incredibly fluid. It's the opposite of test match cricket. But we believe it is number 30, Taranjit Singh, who in that preview was highlighted as arguably the go-to batsman for these guys.
Well, again, maybe I'm a bit old-fashioned, but I've got a very, very simple rule. In T20 and T10, it's your best players face the most balls. And no point keeping blokes down the order. If they're their best players, you know what? Yes, you've got to face the new ball and you're going to face the good bowlers, but if they're your best players, get them out there, get them in, make sure they face as many balls as they can, and hopefully the cream rises to the top.
Taranjit Singh, a man who in the Romanian T20 League last year had a strike rate of 193, scored at almost 2 a ball, and his average wasn't bad either, 455 runs at an average of 50.5. But one has to wonder whether he'll have faced bowling necessarily of this calibre, and that's the interesting thing. We've got unfamiliar players, unfamiliar team combinations. We'll see how they go. Fletcher to Taranjit. Not yet.
Well, before he starts, we'll just quickly give that, this morning when we started at 9 a.m. our time here, it was quite noticeable that Fletcher swung the ball, and we've mentioned it a few times, the Kookaburra regulation, which generally does swing quite a lot. He made the most of that in that early over. It'll be interesting now that we're at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, if that same amount of swing is available.
So it is now Fletcher to Taranjit.
Red on.
Dot to begin with. Piers Fletcher certainly got prodigious swing early on. If you had to nitpick you would say that, and I remember we mentioned this at the time, he bowled 5 wides, which meant he had to bowl 17 deliveries in the spell. And it was the last couple of deliveries that went for boundaries and turned what could have been some outstanding figures into still some very good ones. 2 for 19 from his 2 overs against True from France. Fletcher once more. Good start this.
I think he actually got too greedy. You know, it swung nicely, and of course, as good outswing bowlers are, they sometimes want to bowl it a little bit straighter so they can get even more swing. And unfortunately, very often, once you start to get too straight, it stops swinging and goes down the leg side. So I noticed that the toss of the coin, Peter Saylor wasn't exactly thrilled with his bowlers bowling so many wides, and he wanted to clean that part of the game up.
We'll be expecting a bit more discipline. Fletcher. Taranjeet gets Cluj off and running, so long as he's not run out. Throw from the deep. It was a man with 7 on his back, Dirk van Barent, having a go, and why not step up to the coconut shy? It is one cricketing saying that good teams shy at the stumps because you trust that people will be there backing up.
Absolutely. If you know, if there's no one backing up, it's not your fault. There's a very clear thing early, especially early on in the game. You want to get all the fielders involved and get them moving. So definitely have a throw.
Satwik Natigotla on strike. Lovely little clip, and with these 50-metre boundaries, he wasn't a million miles away from getting 4 for the tiniest of deft touches.
Again, that was the Pierce Fletcher getting a little bit too greedy and seeing if it was going to swing, and just started to get onto his pads. And once again, it's quite noticeable when he bowls straight, it doesn't swing as much. When I say straight, when he looks at delivering the ball middle and leg, he loses his swing.
Fletcher in once more to Taranjeet, and it's crashed away. Might well be a catching chance, but it's one that Hjelte Schoenheim can't quite get onto. One of those that agonisingly leaps over your head.
Little teaser.
Now, Satwik Natigotla, for those who are unfamiliar with him, and I wouldn't blame you if you were, this guy is quite a character. He's described by his teammates as the funny man of the team. He's said to be funny when he walks, eats, he's always complaining. We've got more where that came from. Fletcher into Natigotla. Again, just content to have a look. 2 off 2, couple of singles. But not only that, so he's apparently someone who's a bit grumpy, but he's a funny man. He's always complaining, a big old character. His favourite hero, Kung Fu Panda. So,
geez, I thought you were going to say Dracula.
No, Kung Fu Panda.
Someone's got to have Dracula as their number 1 from Transylvania, surely.
I haven't seen it in any of the notes I prepared, but I can tell you that when Natigotla is bowling, because he does bowl some spin as well, all the puns about Kung Fu Panda cutting through the opposition lineup there. But
I like it, Kung Fu Panda.
But yeah, it sort of jumped out from a lot of notes. You do get sometimes players sort of can't help it, fall into cliche. Of course, we want to win. And of course, it's nice to be on around the world, and there was Kung Fu Panda in the middle of his player profile. Wasn't expecting to see that. But he's also, I've been told, brought it. It's a lucky mascot of his that he carries around with him.
I like it.
Did a bit of digging.
They look splendid in their purple and pink too, by the way.
Yeah, I've been getting a lot of requests from people about, can I get some of these shirts, seeming to think that I have any authority over distributing them or having any of them myself. But they are on sale here at the ground if you fancy getting down here. And that is a proper cricket shot from Natigotla. Kung Fu Panda would have been proud of that one. Not that he was much of a cricketer.
Beautiful cover drive. Genuine half-volley throwdown, really, to start with from Bobby Hannaf, who's generally a really good line and length sort of bowler, but good cricket shot. Good to see that the Romanians have started with some orthodox cricket batting shots.
Hannif in now, looking for the reply.
No!
And he got the maybe commentator's curse, goes a bit bottom-handed and only manages to oiken out towards Pierce Fletcher.
Now, are we saying red or pink? That's the second colour.
For Cluj?
Yeah.
This is an
It's an off-red?
Magenta was the one I'd read for lovers of the colour chart. And if in, Natigotla, he knows where the gap is. It's an intelligent shot. He'll get a single. And the reason I say it's an intelligent shot, if you're new to cricket, maybe thinking that's skied up in the air, it's because he knows it's the power play. There's only 2 fielders that can be out on the boundary, and he's hit it in such a location that even if he mistimes it, He's not going to lose his wicket unless he gets it badly wrong. It's a calculated risk. Those two men are out at long on and deep square leg. Comes Hanif from the last Lomas end. And Nadi Gotler gets lucky here, an inside edge.
They run.
Runs away. Fielded by Masupadia.
Need a little bit of luck to start the innings, of course.
Every batsman needs a bit of luck.
It was a thick inside edge. It didn't look in any danger.
Cluj going at exactly a runner ball. Oh, and that's a misfield from Max O'Dowd. He'll be getting a ticking off from the man to my left later on, his national team head coach. It may be just bobbled, but in truth, this outfield is very good. It's
maybe
an outfield that's hard to look at and blame.
Maybe his hair got in his way.
So have another look. Hanif giving the width. It's capitalised on, and one bounce, bouncing up at O'Dowd. Can't stop it. And Nadi Gotler goes straight down the sweeper's throat. And that is easy as you like. V.O.C. Rotterdam have their first wicket. And Satwik Nadi Gotler has to walk back. A beautiful cover drive at the start of this over, but then he just has seemed to lose his timing. And with a shot like that, it's a real risk, because unless you hit it for 6, you're going to be caught. And that is exactly what happened.
Well, again, we're standing up here, and I just wonder if that breeze has just changed a little as well. So he's hitting into the breeze out that way. We're looking at the flags. It seems to now have almost done a 360 from when we started. It's going across the ground from left to right of screen. So that was straight into the teeth of it, and an easy catch presented.
It's a very good point to make, because that breeze will certainly be the one main thing that affects team strategy, because there's no short boundary. Every boundary is equally short as the number 3 walks out, Sivikuma Arialwa. Fletcher to bowl his second over. And that has gone. That is over the partners' tents and almost into the football pitches on the far side.
Right in the slot,
well,
so to speak.
I've been bigging Taranjeet Singh up, and he is starting to deliver the goods, this guy.
Well, if you have a look at it, look at the backs, the pickup of his bat, and that's his natural arc. It's a big high back lift and comes from probably gully, so you know that he wants to hit basically to cow corner. And that was exactly where he wanted it, and he deposited it beautifully.
Taranjeet Singh facing up once more. Just content to take the single here, which they do get through for. Was something that I'd had a few people mention to me about Taranjeet Singh. He was in my notes. Excellent pull shot, and well, there you go. That is example number 1.
Well, I'm not surprised, because very big from me, a guy from Perth, is we're brought up how you pick your bat up, and he's got a very high back lift, and he picks it up nicely. Playing the short ball should be no issue.
Fletcher in once more, and content to work it away for a single. Harry Alwar to get off the strike. A bit of Kane Williams about that. The most casual way of finding a way to seemingly work anything down to third man for a single, the Kiwi.
Very nicely done. Looks like they're pretty composed sort of characters, the top order from Cluj.
It's been a reasonable enough start in the power play. Maybe these 3 balls will determine who would look at it as a preferred 3 overs. Fletcher to Taranjeet Singh. Oh, and that's a lovely shot, a little bit short, but goodness me, didn't he capitalise on it well. And there's example number 2, Taranjeet Singh on the pull shot. Don't bowl there to me, sunshine. If it's just a fraction too short, he's onto it.
Yeah, again, have a look where the bat comes from. It's exactly his swing plane. Picks the bat up nice and high. What's he got up his sleeve? Fletcher.
You might expect him to go full. He does. They should get through for 1. Scott Edwards can't get there to do the fielding, but the backing up is in place. Schoenheim with the throw. There is a touch to me, maybe the ponting about Taranjeet. He's sort of sitting slightly deep, and that pull shot is his natural.
Well, if you ever look, if you had a look at his back lift from side on, at point of delivery, that you see the surface of his face of the bat at point, which is a great pickup. I'm not going to put him in the likes of the greats, but
No.
if you look at every great batsman, Ponting, Kohli, all that sort of stuff, Bradman, Tendulkar, at point of delivery, that bat is pointing straight at the point fielder as he picks it up, which therefore makes sure you pick your bat up nicely, and anything short, you're ready and away you go. And of course, if it's full, it's just a complete swing of the bat, a nice easy plane that comes through, and you're not trying to overhit the ball because your bat's already up in a high position, so you're not having to overhit, so to speak, and you know, you're using the most of your swing. I don't know if that's too technical, but pretty much back lifts are so important. The only thing we can control as a batsman is our point of, at the point of delivery, are we still and are we in the right position? And in my opinion, someone like Steve Smith, who looks like he moves around, point of delivery, dead still, bat's ready, everything's in perfect line.
But that's the fascinating thing about all that technique, as you referred to, which we'll come back to in a second. Hanif starts a new over. And it is into the gap for one. But whatever you do, actually going to say, pardon me, the 19, change your bowling from the last slow mass end. But no matter what you do beforehand, all kinds of different routines, it's about that moment. But for those maybe listening, thinking this sounds incredibly sort of complex and cricket's not my sport, I think going back to thinking of it as golf and tennis as well, for those who might be more familiar with that, is a good analogy. Balls looked to us like it was sliding down there.
Well, the funny thing is, there's been studies done that if you gave a plastic cricket bat to a little kid, 3-, 4-year-old little kid or 6-year-old kid, picked up a tennis ball and underarmed it to him, just said hit it, didn't even coach him on it, generally they pick it up with their natural swing, the bat would be facing point and they swing through. Yet, through time and coaching and all that, some coach it out of them, so we lose our natural instincts, which I think all coaches should be sacked, probably.
Played into Perialwa, missed outside the off stump.
No, not at all. We all need a job, but
my summariser, as usual, keeping it nice.
But it's funny, you know,
nice and non-controversial.
Yeah,
Calling for every cricket coach to be sacked, including himself.
Himself. Save some money. Same with bowling. Like generally, the first ball you bowl as a kid, your action is pretty much the same. Yes, you can tinker a little bit with it, and obviously if something's there that's going to hurt you with your back or something, you fix. But generally, you still bowl the same way.
Side in. Again, it's another miscue from Perialwa. He started a bit unconvincingly.
And again, without going into too much detail, but of course you're always learning and you're tinkering with a few little technique things, but whatever comes naturally to you is what you must continue to do, unless it's getting yourself into real trouble. And stick with your basic technique, the thing that works best for yourself.
Played in, worked away for a single. At the moment, Cluj predominantly working in ones, but they are ticking along. They're setting something of a platform, although this isn't really the kind of competition where there's time to set a platform.
Well, the platforms are like partnership lasts for an over. But look, and remembering back to our first game, Saad bowled extremely well. Did a really good job, 2 overs, 1 for 7. So he was one of the trumps in the first fixture we saw today.
He was arguably Rotterdam's player of the game until Max O'Dowd stole the man of the match honours away from him. That half century. It is so often the batters that get remembered slightly more than the bowlers.
It's a batter's game.
Nature of the way it works.
But again, look, he's again started well. But what I like about him is he doesn't try too much, but he also uses his bouncer. So he's only going for 2 off that over, and you know he's not scared to bowl a bouncer every now and again. He bowls pretty straight. Doesn't try too much, and in this competition it seems that's the way to go. And now we're going to have another bowling change. The skipper, Peter Salo, is going to bowl what looks to be downwind. We'll be trying to cramp up the batsman, 3 deep on the leg side.
Salo tactically has got a bowl to his field here, can't have much width.
Lovely, lovely.
Down to long on off the first ball.
Here we go.
Salo once more. And that is crashed away. 6 runs. Plenty of sweepers out there, but absolutely nothing they can do except for watch it sail over their heads. And this is a good start from Cluj.
Yeah, absolutely. Good swing of the bat.
Sailor's reply, and it's a good one. They'll sneak through for a lucky single.
A little quicker, a little flatter, a lot fuller.
Nice, mate.
Lots of chat going on there from the V.O.C. lads.
Yeah, they seemed a little bit quiet in the field in the first game as Sailor seems to get a bit out of that.
A little bit of spin there.
There was a joke on the stump mics, which you might not necessarily be able to hear at home with our live broadcast, but I can pass on to you from what we've heard of Sailor jokingly saying, was that my one for the over there? Closest thing a spinner can get to bowling a bouncer. Fuller, totally miscued. He'll get away with it somehow. And he'll get 2 on the misfield. Slightly sloppy work out there from Yalta Schunheim, but the game always looks easier from the commentary box. It is baking hot. It is somewhere in the region of the low 30s even at this time of day, plus the humidity too. Sailor once more.
Nice, buddy.
Oh, so that's lazy running there. Definitely a single there.
Well,
Cover was on the rope, so to speak.
well, Taranjeet Singh said wait. Barry Alwar had already started going, and in the end it's one of those that it's almost fortunate it didn't result in some kind of comical yes, no, wait, sorry.
Sorry. Oh, so another bowling change. It's the Rut. My favourite cricketer, Corey Rutgers, bowling his right arm absolute pump.
Well, the figures say
Oh,
that
no,
he,
forget the figures.
the figures say that he conceded 7 off his 1 over this
Yeah, but
morning
don't
and picked
tell
up a
him
wicket.
that. He was quick to point that out to me after the game.
I'm sure he was. He's bowling from the Las Lomas end. Earlier he was bowling from the Las Acacias end. And he'll be into Parialwa. Right arm around. And he's got that into the gap, but he hasn't got it cleanly, so he'll only get 1. And the reason we're discussing that in relation to Corey Rutgers is because it was one of those odd overs where there was some hittable deliveries, shall we say. A waist-high full toss that wasn't capitalised upon was the most obvious example.
Oh, that's
and
good
I think
fielding.
he's running out. Taranjeet Singh.
I tell you, in all seriousness, what he does do is field well. He's actually a gun in the field, and I reckon he's run him out here.
Well, if he's run Taranjeet Singh out, this is bad news for Cluj. On the stump mic, Rutgers immediately said, that's out, that's out. Seemed pretty certain.
Well, we're going to have a look, that's for sure. What have we got? Here we go. Good fielding. Oh, I reckon he's trouble. I reckon he's in trouble here. Massive trouble. And good night.
Yep, gone. Taranjeet Singh, that is a huge loss. The man who works in finance, born in Karnal, loves his batting, is a huge part of this Cluj unit. Key man for them. Hit the vast majority of his runs in boundaries for them in the Romanian T20 League last year. He's their go-to bat.
Yeah, running out is, it hurts. But the funny thing is, in this form of the game, you've got to back up. So, and you're just hoping that your batsman doesn't hit it straight back to the bowler.
Should clarify, pardon me. Shocker from me. It is, of course, the non-striker Sivikumar Perialwa. So Taranjeet remains at the striker's end, whilst probably feeling a little bit bad about losing his partner. Not through any real fault of his own.
See, again, the coaches always want you to play straight. You can't play straight in this game because you'll run your partner out.
Well, or
What are
as
you
we saw
doing?
earlier today, it'll get tipped onto the stumps.
We've seen that a couple of times too.
Gaurav Mishra comes out.
Yeah, perfect.
Mishra with 99 on his back. All-rounder, we'll see his right arm pace later on. For now, he's got bat in hand. Facing Rutgers.
Oh,
It's a
that's
little
big.
bit short, and it's taken advantage of. It was a bit of a gift-wrapped delivery from Corey Rutgers, and Taranjeet Singh isn't going to miss out.
Well, that's that length that is absolutely perfect for his swing plane, as we've spoken about before. Right in the slot.
Rutgers again. And that is quick work from Scott Edwards. Goodness me, that was like a man who has seen the buffet at the hotel. He was away. He was off as soon as the receptionist told him where it was. Scott Edwards stops the single. Rutgers once more. That is again too short. And again it's gone. Don't bowl there to Taranjeet Singh. He
Absolutely.
is loving life.
I don't want to harp on it, but that's exactly the length he's hoping for. Big swing of the bat. And we'll hit that for 6. I'm going to say 9.5 out of 10 times.
Once more, that is
every time.
again too short. But you've got to give credit to Taranjeet Singh. He has ruthlessly put that away. Rutgers once more. What's he got for us now? It's slightly better length. Keeps it a 1. And I'm sure Taranjeet Singh, with the way he's seeing it, will be quite happy to have kept the strike. 56 for 2 at the end of the 6th.
Now Mishra wearing number 99. And am I guessing, or is the Indian Mishra, is his number 99 in the IPL and in his Indian thing? Oh, again, it's a good guess, but I reckon it's an educated guess. Someone should tweet us. Someone should tweet us.
Please,
give us Mishra's number.
Please do tweet us. Amit Mishra's number in the IPL. Is it the same as number 99? Is he maybe inspired by him? What we can tell you for certain is that we've got number 23, Bobby Hanif, coming on from our end of the ground. That's Acacia's end. And that Gaurav Mishra is certainly a go-to batsman for Cluj. Taranjeet is having a piece of that. It's another 6 from Taranjeet Singh. He is really starting to motor now, and he's giving Cluj something to defend against the favourites.
Absolutely. At 10 and over, they're definitely a post maybe 120, 130 score here, which will put pressure on the pre-tournament favourites.
Hanif's reply like it's a full toss, and he slightly got away with it. Sailor Fields, Hanif, and you can't blame him, instinctively just jumped out of the way.
Yeah,
and
get out of the way.
Well, this is an interesting point in terms of player safety these days, because we've seen umpires wearing helmets, we've seen umpires wearing the protective sort of blade guard down their arm, and we've seen bowlers getting injured on follow-throughs very badly with the pace and ferocity.
Big bats, it is dangerous. It's one of those parts of our game.
And it's a Mishra, he's off the mark.
That I know Cricket Australia, for instance, have brought in laws that for coaches who are doing throwdowns and things after, I think, Gary Kirsten got his jaw broken to Darcy Short. So you have to wear a helmet if you're going throwdowns and things like that.
Taranjeet facing. Crack that straight down to Max O'Dowd for 1.
Unfortunately, the bowler is one of those things where he can't really wear a lot of protective gear. I think, don't quote me on this, I think there's a New Zealand bowler, someone who plays provincial cricket in New Zealand, who has come up with something, because his delivery stride, he actually doesn't look at the batsman at all.
Mishra facing. Single. Yes, I have seen
and
this.
he was in danger. They just felt it's just so dangerous.
And again, please do give us a tweet. @ThisIsMcCann is my handle, and I'm monitoring them up here in the commentary box, and we'd be interested to know either related to the Mishra number or anything else, and we'll be sure to give you a shout out on there, or any other questions about this event or what's going on here.
It's good bowling.
Saw him coming down, threw it wide.
What am I? I think I'm Cambo_19. Can't even remember my Twitter handle. Cambo_19, I think I am.
But yeah, please do get in touch if there's anything bugging you about questions in terms of the obvious ones of who, what, where, when, why are you
wearing shorts and slips? Well, all that sort of stuff. Ask those questions.
Well, we can get to that, but let's start with the event first, which is it's the Champions League of European Cricket. 8 of the champions from across Europe have assembled here for a 3-day T10 tournament. 2 groups of 4 semi-finalists. Top 2 go through to those semi-finals, and it all culminates at 5:30 p.m. Central European Time on Wednesday, the 31st of July. With the European Cricket League final.
Interesting moment in the game. Max O'Dowd has changed. He used to bowl off spin, he bowls leg spin now. Interesting moment of the game.
O'Dowd bowls, Taranjeet gets a single. Do you think the thinking here maybe is that you've got a right-handed bat in Taranjeet who is smoking it through the onside? If you get the ball turning away from him, that could cause him a problem?
That is, but again, no disrespect to Max, but he's quite new to these. And he's a work in progress. I think longer term he's going to be an excellent bowler with him, and we're really excited with what he has. But like anything, when you just start, it can cause a few issues to start. So he might drop short, but hopefully not for V.O.C.
Now into Taranjeet, who has taken advantage, but it's well... Oh, goodness me, I thought he caught that for a second.
He did, Peter Saylor. What a catch. An absolute cracking catch.
It was just, it was the lack of celebration. Sorry, that completely threw me. And Taranjeet Singh is gone. It's a big wicket for Maxo Dow to pick up. I said maybe they've got him on because he's turning it away from the bat. And that is very smart work from Peter Saylor. It was just the way he casually threw it back in towards the bowler, as if it was like,
well, that's
no
what I do. He's a good fielder and he's supposed to. If it's in the air, we catch it.
Fair enough.
That's what we're after. But again, like I said, it was an interesting moment of the game, bringing Maxo Dow on because he's bowling more and more leg spin, and he's got a massive wicket. He's landed the first 4 really nicely.
O'Dowd into Mishra.
Oh, yeah, lovely.
Single, and you sense that Taranjeet is so crucial to this Cluj side that a wicket like that in particular could take 20 runs off what they've got to chase based on how he was hitting it. Taranjeet Singh was really starting to motor, and now he's back in the pavilion. O'Dowd continues from the last Loma set. Locked back down the ground from V.O.C, who has a fascinating story. I would say, and maybe it's the romantic in me, one of the best stories in this tournament, which is worth taking you through. Picks it out for 1. So he moves to Romania back in 2012. Was only ever meant to be a 6-month gig and goes back to India. Instead, he meets the love of his life. He ends up spending the next few years between India and Romania, long-distance relationship. They get married in India in 2016. He moves to Romania full-time in July 2017 to be with her. He's never played any cricket in Romania because he's thought, there's not much going on. He joins Cluj in the 2018 season. They win all 3 trophies. He's man of the match in 2 finals, including the final to get them here. And now he's here playing in the ECL with the world watching.
All because of love.
There we go.
You're going to sing soon, aren't you?
Peter Saylor bowls.
Are you going to sing a love song or something?
No,
It is a great story. That is a brilliant story. I'm sure my wife at home singing, see, there are romantics in the world. What happened to you?
Saini gets off strike, so it'll be Saylor bowling to Mishra.
Yeah, boy, lovely.
So you're not the first person to make the joke when I've enthusiastically told them that story in the last week of, so what's the culmination? Is it going to be some you singing some Elvis or some Barry Manilow? Absolutely not. But it's all about the man himself. He's at the non-striker's end as Mishra's chipped this, and Mishra's lost his wicket. It's again ruthlessly efficient work from V.O.C Rotterdam. Saylor with the ball. Corey Rutgers jumps in and takes the catch. Brief high five and a thumbs up from his coach, who is next to me in the box.
Yeah, Corey Rutgers pretty happy with the catch. Pretty happy with himself all full time, to be honest. But no, a very good piece of work, Saylor. Like, he's a veteran. He's a wily old customer. Probably easy on the old. He's not that old. He's only 31 years of age. But look, just knows where to bowl in these sort of situations. If he's under the pressure, does he use a bit of flight? Does he use a bit of guile, or does he just bang it into the wicket? And a couple of key wickets of just taking away a little bit of the momentum from Cluj, who were going really, really nicely to start with. Now the pressure's back on them.
So we've got Rajendra Pisal, the number 77, is the new batsman out, and he will face his first delivery now because V.O.C, whose love story we were talking about, has given him the strike back. And once again, V.O.C Rotterdam going for this set field that they used throughout the first game, apart from the power play. 3 out on the leg side, 2 out on the offside, a 5-4 field. Saylor bowls.
Oh!
And that is a single. Good calling from the non-striker, who's lost his hat in the process. V.O.C eager to get down the other end. For those new to the game, when we say a 5-4 field, what we're talking about is the number of players on the offside and the number of players on the leg side. So 5-4 would be 5 on the offside, which is the side further away from where their pads are. We'll come back to that in a second, as this is straight down the ground, and Maxo Dow can't get there. Lovely shot from V.O.C. He's had a hell of a romantic journey to get here, and now he wants to make the most of the opportunity.
Living the dream. Good shot, straight down the ground. Peter Saylor will be a little bit disappointed there. He prides himself on making sure his last ball is his best ball. Try to get out of the over, and unfortunately it just over-pitched. And on this small boundaries, you pay the ultimate price.
And that's the thing, even a full toss, when it's not got hold of, it's almost certainly going to go on a 50-metre boundary, unless you really mess it up.
Yeah, absolutely. Saad back into the attack again. He's bowled 3 pretty good overs in the 2 games so far. He'll be hoping to finish off with his 4th.
So 2 overs, 1 for 7 in the first game. And his first over here cost just 2 runs, which is exceptional stuff. I mean, that's good in a T20, never mind a T10. Pissau content to take the single. Again, 3 sweepers out on the leg side, 2 on the off. So just to return to that, if you're new to cricket, when we say a 5-4 field, the offside is the field that, to keep it really simple, is closer to where the batsman's bat will be. It's that side of the ground. And the leg side is the side that is closer to where their pads and their legs are. Whether you're a beginner or an expert when it comes to cricket, it's a pleasure to have you with us. Inside bowling, good bumper. Will it be wided? It will, and we've seen this today. A few bounces that are marginal and have been given as wides.
Yeah, again, I don't mind that. I always think if you're going to bowl a bumper, make sure it's a nice high one so the batsman doesn't have quite the control. And as you can see there, it's clearly above. Good call by the umps.
Of course, from our commentary box view, we can't necessarily see height as well as they can from square leg. Side in. Saini will get 1. I think about 2, but 2's on a postage stamp of a ground like this are a very rare thing, really.
Yeah, again, it's nice and full, isn't it? He's not giving them anything that they can get under.
So we urge people to tweet us in at Mr. Kieran Mr. Hunt. Said the helmet-wearing Kiwi bowler was Warren Barnes, retired this year due to unrelated injuries. Thank you very much for that little piece of information. Much appreciated. Side into the attack from the last Loma Sen, continuing. Single. Pissau ticking things along, but ever since Taranjit Singh's gone, haven't really seen
too many boundaries. In fact, I don't think... Oh, we've seen 1 6 and that's it.
Just slightly dried up.
3 balls remaining in this innings.
Who's looking to take advantage? Can they get up into the 90s? Any facing? It's a decent enough clean strike, but straight at the fielder once more. Corey Rutgers has the fielding. And he's having a bit of a chat with his teammates afterwards. Not one of the quieter men in 11.
Can talk underwater, that boy.
Grew up in Carafa. He said in his player profile, and as soon as I met him, I realised this was complete nonsense. He said, as quiet as a church mouse.
Oh.
Side in. So gets hold of this for 1.
So we had Corey involved in the national system as he was our analyst and also helped out a little bit at trainings. And basically, the analyst is there. He's plotting the opposition, the batting, every ball and all that sort of stuff. But in the end, I had to put him like 20 feet away from me because he's just non-stop, constant yap. Pretty much bored me to death. So it was either him move or I had to move. So
side bowling to Saini. Wider of the crease, and he tries the ramp, gets it all wrong, and he should get a single. Oh my goodness gracious me, this is comedy cricket. And will the run out? Scott Edwards does complete the run out. Where on earth to start with that? But it was the last ball of the innings, so why not go for it? And that was the logic of Rajendra Pissau. Unfortunately, his partner was not really thinking the same way. And that's the end of that.
I'll tell you what it was again. It was the rut. It was a brilliant piece of backing up. He's taken that one hand in the left hand and then got the throw in. Unfortunately, the big Saad was in the way of the wicky. Scotty Edwards, for some reason, thought he was the wicky. Nearly put Scotty under a whole heap of pressure.
Let's start from the beginning. So it was a terrible attempt in terms of success at a ramp shot from Saini. Throw from Said, thrown back from Corey Rutgers. Said gets in the way of keeper Scott Edwards, who eventually takes it cleanly and runs out Rajendra Pissau. Did you get all of that? We'll be testing you on it later. Anyway, the 2 batsmen who were in at the end walk off. Cluj will feel like they're in the game with a total like that, but as we've seen today, no runs are enough on this ground. Cluj C.C got 118 for 2, and that was not enough.
Yeah, they started really well. They had wickets in hand. They didn't lose early wickets, which you have seen in a few previous games from other teams in this competition. But it was a calm start. They were picking up boundaries, and the run out off Corey Rutger's bowling, where he took it, basically the batsman whacked it straight back at him and ran out his runner at the other end. But as you can see there, Taranjeet Singh, the standout, 42 from 26 deliveries, easily the best player. He looked in a very, very ominous form.
Yep. Taranjeet Singh, a man who is preferring the leg side. His teammates compare him to V.V.S. Laxman a little bit, but I'd say there's a lot more brute hitting about the way he does his stuff than V.V.S.
There's actually a bit of say-wag about his batting, his pickup, if you had a look at his pickup, if you compared the two.
And we can see the bowling card as well. Vasu Saini chipping in with 12 run out to help get them up to 87. And this was the V.O.C. boys. Ashikullah Saeed didn't take a wicket, but for me, he's the guy to highlight. That's now 15 runs that he's conceded across 4 overs today in the 2 V.O.C. matches so far. Max O'Dowd with 1 for 4 from his 1 over and picked up the really important scalp of Taranjeet Singh. So that's the first innings pretty much done and dusted. We've got a short mid-innings interval here before we go to the run chase, but we can have a look through what we've seen so far.
Well, it started well. That's a beautiful cover drive to start the innings off. It was, you know, there was some, like I say, there was some conventional batting early on, which led to the bowlers starting to try a little bit too hard. That was a big dismissal there. Just a half tracker, really. Tried to help it on its way, hit into the mouth of this breeze, which is picked up quite a lot. And as you can see there, when you're hitting with it, the ball goes at serious pace. And there was a couple of massive hits early on.
Well, Taranjeet Singh got going, and for a while it looked like V.O.C. Rotterdam could be in a bit of trouble. Corey Rutgers with the smart run out there. That was one that chipped away, but this was the big moment. Max O'Dowd against Taranjeet Singh. Peter Saylor with the catch and the incredibly efficient celebration. So efficient it was that it made me think for a second whether there was something wrong with the catch. Such was the total business-like approach. And after that, it sort of stagnated and Cluj began to struggle a little.
Yeah, another good piece of fielding from Corey Rutgers there, and a good 6 here. Long down the ground, but Saad, again, finished the innings really nicely for V.O.C. A bit of a comedy of errors going for the second run here.
So just a note on the Taranjeet Singh situation. So he got out with a score at 69, 2.5 overs left. So off those last 15 balls, once he was gone, they only scored 18 runs. And that tells you how valuable that wicket was, because if he was at the crease, there's potentially another 10 or 20 on that target, which is 88 to win. Well,
it also just shows you how important it is to have a set batsman in the final 2 overs. If you're losing wickets and having new guys all the time, causes lots of issues at the back end.
So the scene's set here for the run chase in match number 5 of this, the brand new European Cricket League. If you're free and going to maybe make a cup of tea or something as you wait for the run chase, do get a tweet into the ECL account, or This is McCann, which is myself, 2 C's and 2 N's. If you've got any questions for myself or Ryan Campbell, the Netherlands head coach, as part of our commentary team, it would be a pleasure to answer them. But when we come back, V.O.C. Rotterdam will need 88 runs to beat Cluj from Romania.
county cricket.
It's like if you go to a country and you live I think it depends on how you put it up. I think probably one of them, you know, the one that worries me. I'll watch. So the Irish. So if they've already decided, I'm going to play for England, I'm trying to sort of get the story. Or you get all the same thing, and then we run it out in country. Because that is, yeah. If it is after it's born in Barbados, and he's got mum who's mum that is. He went through the West Indian system. Long story short, they treated him like shit. Next the interview was potential, and he got to about 16, 17, and he got on the phone to give him a match to get England with Sussex and I'm drawn to it when it is this player has no prior intention of moving to this country before you come to England if you go there and you do a trial and you freaking nail it, and then you're like, I'm pissed off with the country where I grew up, I don't like them, I don't feel finished in that country, I've got a badge, I've got a fraud, and you move to the country. When it is big controversy, where are you? We've got loads of those guys. Why are we basically hanging around for Saturday? The guy who might not get his job. And this one, and it's very different. And this is the problem. How much because that is incredibly. Welcome to the run chase for V.O.C. Rotterdam against Cluj Cricket Club from Romania as Game 5 of this, the brand new ECL, continues. I'm Michael McCann, and joining me once again is Ryan Campbell, the Netherlands head coach, and 3 of his players in this V.O.C. Rotterdam lineup today. Tell us something we don't already know about them.
Oh, gee, put me on the spot. Max O'Dowd, unbelievable DJ. Plays the beats. Follow him on Spotify. It's quite actually good. Even I listen to some of it, although he has to tone down the music for a bit less of the doof for me to follow. But yeah, there you go. Very, very good DJ.
Well,
in fact, we might hear him tomorrow playing the beats.
Well, that's one. So what about Scott Edwards and Peter Saylor?
Scott Edwards, nicknamed The Creature by Roelof van der Merwe. Called The Creature because of his looks. And because when he takes his shirt off, he looks like Skeletor. Absolutely no meat on him at all. So he's nicknamed The Creature. Peter Saylor. What can I say about Peter Saylor? I think the less said about Peter Saylor, the best.
Right, well, we'll come back to that. That's the Cluj lineup.
So tell me something about the Cluj lineup.
Well, we've got V.O.C.'s love story, and that's going to get another chapter now because he's one of their key bowlers. I suspect he might well be opening the bowling for them.
Yep.
Aaron Chandrasekhar, the captain, another man to keep a particularly close eye on. He's handy with the ball. Charanjit Singh with the spin as well will be important. So we are minutes away from the run chase. Wherever you are joining us across the world, it's a pleasure to have you with us. The teams are just in the tents away to our left-hand side and ready to go. We've got the 2 opening batsmen for V.O.C, which I suspect, I'm just trying to catch them behind the marquee, will be Scott Edwards and Max O'Dowd once more.
Yeah, that seemed to be the plan of the first match. I don't think there's any reason to shy away from that. Of course, 88 is the target of their allotted 10 overs. If they get a solid start, I wouldn't have thought this run chase would be too much of a problem. But again, Cluj has some handy bowlers. They'll be looking for a couple of early breakthroughs in the power play situation. And if they can get that, put some pressure on the lesser known players of V.O.C, who knows?
And this is something we were talking about earlier on. The wind has really whipped up as it does in the late evening now. And it's blowing sort of all over the place, but broadly speaking, from our view in the commentary box end, which is the Las Acacias end, it's blowing from the left-hand side as we look at things to the right-hand side. So depending on where the first over is, we'll give you a bit more on how that might affect things. The Cluj boys looking very nice in their magenta and purple, I'm assured that it is.
Magenta and purple. It's a very good-looking outfit, let me tell you.
Provided by our kit partners, New Balance, and then the colour-coordinated pads and helmets provided by Kookaburra. Very grateful for their support to get the ECL with all these players nicely kitted out. And there is Scott Edwards, the Creature, as he's just been nicknamed by my co-commentator. Joining him is a man who set the ECL alight earlier on, Max O'Dowd. Bit of a steady start by his standards, and then 7 consecutive boundaries. Got him on the brink of victory, 1 to win, and then couldn't finish it off, but we won't blame him for that because he entertained us so much in the build-up, and he will take strike for first ball. Yeah,
the damage was done, and it was just interesting I had a quick chat to Peter Saylor and Max O'Dowd after the first game they played, and they both agreed that they tried to hit the ball too hard to start with, and they need to sort of rein it in a little bit, just get your timing. The wicket was a little too paced, so once you get the timing right, things will flow.
So V.O.C. is going to open the bowling, as I suspected he might. The first over is coming from the Las Lomas end of the ground. And as we look at things from this over, the wind is blowing from right to left. From our view as this over begins. Max O'Dowd facing up to V.O.C., who, as we discussed, has the romance story of the tournament. Does it have a romantic continuation. Now we're here at the ECL. He's bowling to a Dutch international. He's got his 2 fielders out in the power play on the offside, a 3rd man and a point. So he's really got to bowl to this field because we've seen how powerful O'Dowd is towards both cow corner and in the V. So anything remotely straight, he's got no protection whatsoever. Will be Saini, and that is straight, and it's punished by O'Dowd. A lovely shot from Max O'Dowd, capitalising on it being short, but that was a loosener from Saini. I mentioned that his 2 fielders are out on the offside, and that was easily put away.
Well, I'm just going to say very quickly that we've only seen 1 ball, but that pace, he definitely can bring 3rd man up and give himself a bit more protection on the leg side, maybe a deep square.
Saini once more. That is a better line, mistimed by O'Dowd. Bowling sort of wobbly mediums, trying to get a bit out of the pitch, a bit out of the ball.
Wobbly back of a length, which again brings that pull shot into play, which I think he would be better off with a deep square.
Saini bowling, and O'Dowd slightly bottom-handedly bunts it out to mid-on, gets off strike. 5 off the first 3. So for those maybe new to the game, wondering why we're discussing that so much, when you have a quicker bowler, the perceived wisdom is that you might want a 3rd man out in the deep offside boundary for any edges that might fly. But when the bowling isn't quite so rapid, as we've seen it.
And again, that length, that pull shot, even Scott Edwards' first ball wanting to use his pull shot. His length is a little bit shorter than a full-length delivery. Players trying to get on the back foot.
And just to come back to that, when the bowling isn't quite so quick, or it's sort of medium pace in between spin and pace, as we're seeing with Saini now, you wonder whether you need 2 people out behind square on the offside as O'Dowd goes into that gap and goes for 4. It's exactly as you said. Doesn't have the protection out there because it's the power play. He's got both of his fielders, 1 at point, 1 at deep 3rd man, protecting the outside edge on the offside. And it's clever batting from O'Dowd, nifty footwork. You'd hope he's as good on the dance floor. He shifts across, opens it up and finds the boundary.
He loves the dance, as we can see now as we speak. 3rd man comes up, deep square comes back. Got to think on your feet, got to be a bit quicker. Can't just react to where the ball's gone. You have to be a little bit faster than that.
And you can see they're actually trying to move him around. There's a bit of a miscommunication here between Saini and his fielders to get him exactly where he wants him. Saini to O'Dowd, and that's clipped away for 6. Max O'Dowd is having a lot of fun. 53 in the first game. He's motored on to 15 in the second. The Dutch international lighting up the ECL.
Yeah, but short. It's a long hop. Unfortunately, couldn't get it quite right. He's trying to roll his fingers over the seam, I think, and unfortunately just dragging those down. And at that pace, if you're bowling that length, it's thank you and good night.
Well, Vashu Saini in his pre-tournament interview openly said we're underdogs, but we feel like we can do something. But I just wonder whether he's walking away after that over a little bit disappointed with himself. Just the length a tad short, but it always looks easier from the commentary box. He's bowling to a gun international batsman, arguably one of the stars of the competition. You wouldn't blame him at all for feeling nervous. At the other end of the ground, our end of the ground, where we're commentating from up on the scaffolding, Gaurav Mishra ready to bowl. Right arm over into Scott Edwards. Got to start with.
It's better length.
And it is noticeable now that they've got both men out on the onside, mid-on and deep mid-wicket out, as opposed to that last over where they lost a couple of boundaries from having the sweepers in the wrong place. And Edwards with the improvisation. We said that he likes to switch it. We said that he likes to do something different. And look at that. Gets down on 1 knee. And it wasn't even a slog sweep. It was a sort of lap sweep away for 6 over fine leg.
The sweepologist, as he is also known. Yeah, loves to get down on 1 knee and use the 360 degrees of the ground, particularly square of the wicket and behind him. And with this breeze, Mishra just bowling a little in swing into the Scott Edwards pads. paying the price.
Mishra continues looking for that breakthrough. And Edwards misses this time. Not given as a wide. It was sliding down. Edwards trying to make room. Gaurav Mishra, one of Cluj's main men with the ball. 8 wickets for them in the T20 comp in Romania last year with an average of 17. But much more importantly, his economy rate was just 5.2. And he's kept it relatively tight so far, apart from that swept 6. Edwards goes again and goes big. 2 swept 6s from Scott Edwards in the same over. He is loving that. That's why they call him the sweepologist.
Well, and again, this is also the beauty of this competition is no one knows each other. They don't know their strengths and what their weaknesses are. If he was playing an international match, for instance, everyone knows Scott Edwards is the sweepologist. They would have deep square, deep fine leg, try and make him hit down the ground. But again, new players, never done this before. So you've got to try and work out. You've got to think on your feet, got to come up with a plan, and you've got to change very quickly. You can't just wait for a few balls because you could go for 12 in that time.
And arguably, it might well be the team that thinks on their feet best this week that takes that magnificent trophy from Sanjay Sharma home. And if you haven't seen the trophy, you really must get on social media and have a look. We've got a few shots of it as well that we might be able to show you later on in the innings if we get time between the frantic T10 cricket. Mishra in to Edwards, who misses once more, and that is given as a wide.
Well, he's playing with fire, really, attacking that leg stump of Scotty, although we have seen a change in the field. Fine leg is back and deep square is back now as well. Cow corner, mid-wicket, so to speak, and mid-on have come up inside the circle. But again, 5 men on the offside. Just wonder if he needs to bring one across. Challenge him to play somewhere else.
Into Edwards once more, and he's picked the man out, drop catch. That is not what you need when you're trying to get back in the game and the opposition have made a good start. It is Shukran Sahi with the drop at mid-wicket. Puts his hand in the air to apologise. It was near enough straight at him. Head height, though, hit pretty hard. But you'd probably expect this to be taken.
Yeah, I'm not sure he wants to watch that replay too many times.
Mishra in. Can he get the wicket he wanted the previous ball? Edwards has got hold of this very fine, and he'll get 4. I'm not entirely sure that was where Scott Edwards meant it to go, but he'll be pleased with the result nevertheless. A very good over for V.O.C. Rotterdam, a costly drop catch, and Mishra goes for 21.
Yeah, rolling along now. Again, you can see Scott Edwards has only got one thing on his mind, and that's the fine square leg boundary. I'm actually surprised he hasn't reverse swept yet. Wait for that to come out. I've no doubt he'll bring that if he survives. But again, the 3rd over of this power play, Cluj needs a big one. 1, maybe 2 wickets required.
Well, it is difficult to envisage V.O.C. Rotterdam failing to chase this without if one of these 2 bat through. Very difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen in the first game what O'Dowd and Saylor did. They got 2 wickets and then you're into a middle order that hasn't had that much success this season. They all can play, don't get me wrong, but they're a little bit nervous.
New over, O'Dowd facing, and O'Dowd has crunched that away. That's on top of the nets. Max O'Dowd, stop it, goodness gracious me. Taranjeet Singh has got the treatment. It was Taranjeet smashing 6s in the first innings, but even he didn't hit one this big. We've only got 50-metre boundaries, but that cleared them by a heck of a long way. O'Dowd, once again, he's picked out cover. He'll be filthy with himself. Max O'Dowd cannot believe what he's done. In the first game, he hit 53 and got out with 1 to win. This time, he was flying along and then picked out cover. Taranjeet gets the breakthrough. It was he who did it with the bat, and he's doing it with the ball.
Well, it's a big wicket. Again, change of line. Challenging O'Dowd to hit on the offside. Tried to go hard. No timing. Straight to cover. And taken. It's a big wicket. The wicket of Max O'Dowd, and that brings to the crease the skipper, Peter Saylor, who we saw bat very nicely in the first innings.
Peter Saylor had a very good time of it to help them to victory in the first game, the very first game of the tournament as well, 29 off 17. We saw a bit of what you'd worked on with him, that trying to get a player to hit straight baseball style to open up more options than just that traditional mid-wicket cow corner. Taranji coming to Saylor, who plays this very nicely through cover. Just leant back and guided it away in the gap. A proper cricket shot.
Yeah, it's good shot. A bit too short. Gave himself a little bit of room. And he's underway.
Saylor off and running. Taranji in once more. This time sweeps. Good contact again, but picks out the man. Mohammed Ahmed fielding at short fine leg. Taranji looking for a breakthrough. Often handy with this spin bowling, an economy rate of less than a run a ball in the Romanian T20 league last year. Saylor will get one driving out. Bit of a slip. Shabash, shabash is the shout from the fielders, which translates loosely as good effort or well done. Often the call of encouragement to teammates. Taranji to Edwards, who's got the sweep all wrong and pays the price. Mishra with the catch, and that's got the Cluj boys going a bit now. Both openers back in the hutch, and could we see an extraordinary turnaround? V.O.C. Rotterdam, the favourites for the tournament, now under a bit of pressure.
Well, we did say, could we get 2 wickets in an over to put the pressure on it? Scott Edwards going for the reverse sweep, or the switch hit. Only top edges it, and we see the back of him. And there, the 2 wickets, both openers are gone. Power play done. V.O.C. 2 for 48, needing 40 runs to win from the next 7 overs.
And of course, V.O.C. Rotterdam only used 3 batsmen in their first game, with winning it so quickly. Scott Edwards went early, but then O'Dowd and Saylor finished things off. So whoever steps out at number 4, and it is Hjelte Schoenheim, they will be into the action with the bat at the ECL for the first time. But Hjelte Schoenheim is certainly comfortable in this format. I'll tell you why in a second. He's facing up to Sahi. Cracked away for 4. Lovely start. It's in fact Peter Saylor on strike. Pardon me, Hjelte Schoenheim at the other end. Schoenheim from V.O.C. Rotterdam's T20 campaign last year. You will be familiar with him, of course. Hit 26 sixes. Sahi bowling. Saylor gives Schoenheim the chance to show us that hitting prowess, and it's more than 4 times as much as anyone else in the Rotterdam side. So if you want someone to blast some sixes and get you to an early dinner reservation, he's probably the guy to get you out.
He does love to go long, and I'm going to say this. I reckon he's going to want a piece of this bowling.
Sahi. Oh, he can't look at that one. Long way wide.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's going to hold back here. Sahi needs to get it right very quickly.
And Sahi. Oh my goodness gracious me, what a mess. Sahi gets it all wrong. Throw in from Satwik Nadigotla behind the stumps was a bit of a messy one, and then Sahi couldn't gather it. And Hjelte Schoenheim must have had his heart in his mouth. He's been waiting through that first game for a bat. Almost run out without scoring.
Oh,
that's big. That's big from Saylor. And the ball boys are going to be busy going and picking it out. It's gone over the nets, in towards the fan village.
That's what we call step-me length. Take one step and hit it over the boundary. And lobbing it up there, and Peter Saylor's not going to miss out on those.
It was very inviting. Sukran Sahi in once more, and Saylor cracks this through mid-wicket. It will take some fielding, and it can't be stopped. Sivakumar Periyalwa with not his finest work, but it's more good batting from Peter Saylor, and V.O.C. Rotterdam are cruising towards this target now. Required run rate of just 3.7, which is next to nothing in this format. Sahi once more. It's better from him. He is by no means a part-timer, despite the tap that he received in that over, Sukran Sahi. key figure in the side that won them their domestic T20 competition to get them here. National champions in the league and the cup last year. They've been runners-up in the 4 years in succession before last year. So you think of all the times to pick to win it, hey? They won it in the year that would have got them into this brand new European Cricket League. So that's what we've seen so far. Good cameos from O'Dowd and Edwards, excellent strike rates, and Seeler going along at a similar rate, which means that after just 4 overs, the back of this chase has been broken.
Yeah, absolutely. I just wonder if a Max O'Dowd and Scott Edwards, maybe a Sailor, bat a complete 10 overs, what sort of score we're looking at. But look, they're obviously good players, but it gives an opportunity for clubs like Cluj to find out.
Taranjeet in, and that has gone a long way from Schoenheim. I told you he was the six master. 4 times more than anyone else for Rotterdam last season. And from his second ball, he announces his arrival in fine style. Hjalte Schoenheim is lethal. Taranjeet to Schoenheim. Cracks this in the gap. Very powerfully hit, very well fielded by Vasu Saini. Keeps it a 1. Schoenheim, a man who works in recruitment software by day, hits 6s by night. Played cricket in the Netherlands right since he was a 5-year-old. Taranjeet again. Sailor doesn't get hold of this.
Now, I'm going to have to look up a little bit of the family history here, but I'm pretty sure his father still plays at almost 70 years of age.
Sailor facing. Bunted away, down to long off. And again, that's one of those where, sort of leaning on your knowledge as the current Netherlands head coach, if anybody does know, feel free to tweet us in at @thisismccann. Just this is, and then MCCANN. We'll read out any good tweets we get on air.
And I'm positive it's his dad, and he still wicket keeps. And he loves the game, just absolutely former international, just a beautiful man and loves the game of cricket. You'll always see him there watching any Dutch game, under 19s, whatever it is, he's there watching. Still plays.
And it's fantastic when you get a story like that, the passion for cricket running literally in the blood as Taranjeet gets unlucky. A bounce over the cover fielder means that Taranjeet Singh's figures get even more punishment. Sailor with the boundary. And at halfway, V.O.C are 78 for 2, which leads us back to wondering just what could they get if they're batting first.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we'll find out at one point. But again, they're going to play in their next game tomorrow. From what we saw, the Denmark team, Svanholm were very, very good. So again, different opposition, tougher.
Based on what we have seen, I don't think it's any disrespect to Dro or Cluj to say that Svanholm will give them the sternest test of the 3 teams in the pool stage.
Yeah, absolutely, no doubt about that.
For those wondering why we're sort of talking about Svanholm in such glowing ways, they demolished Drew earlier. Drew restricted to 60 for 9. Svanholm knocked it off for the loss of just 1 wicket with 3.5 overs to spare, which T10 cricket is positively coasting it.
And again, let's not forget that this whole competition's about exposing cricket. Cluj had never had a chance to bowl against Dutch international players. Peter Sailor will be bowling, had just been playing internationals against Zimbabwe. And now here they are, playing against the club team from Transylvania.
Rajendra Hisal starting with a decent enough delivery. And there's another interesting point on that relating to grass wickets as Hisal continues to Schoenheim, who steps down and crashes it away. Hjalte Schoenheim has hit 2 6s in the first 6 balls he's faced. Don't give this guy a full toss because it isn't staying on this park.
Well, like you mentioned about the grass, I'm pretty sure they've never played on grass. It's another great experience for them.
And that was what I was alluding to. Hisal, and he was clever there, the bowler, and he still gets hit for 4. Well, that is really upsetting for Rajendra Hisal. You have to feel for him. He saw the batsman coming down, threw it wide, which meant that the connection wasn't clean from Schoenheim, but didn't get the backing up in the field that he would have wanted from his captain, Taranjeet Singh. One of his star men, I should say, Taranjeet Singh as well. And that's the end of that. They've chased the target down with acres to spare. It's taken just 5 overs and 3 balls for it all to be over. Done and dusted. V.O.C Rotterdam with 2 wins from 2. And that means that they are into the semi-finals. Whether they're first or second in the group is yet to be determined. The only team that could stop V.O.C. Rotterdam's topping the pool is Svanholm, who beat Drew early on in Pool A, 2 pools of 4. Top 2 go into the semi-finals as the handshakes are completed. Peter Saylor once again gets a not out to go on his average, which is no bad thing for anyone who likes to keep an eye on their stats. And as for the Cluj boys, they put up 87 for 5, a total that was built on the back of 42 from Taranjeet Singh, but nowhere near enough, as we strongly suspected it might not be.
No, it was disappointing. It's definitely it's very noticeable too that, you know, the bowlers that were coming on, that first ball was almost a loosener every time, and unfortunately there's no warm-ups in this. And I think if you look at the stats, I'm pretty sure every first ball of an over either went for a 4 or a 6, which, you know, puts the bowler immediately under pressure for the rest of the over. But a good batting display from V.O.C, getting the job done so far. They've done everything that's been asked of them. I guess the pre-tournament favourites. So we'll have to continue watching what they have up our sleeves.
So just speaking to our gun stats and scoreboard operators and scorecard operators around us, 4 of the 6 overs that Cluj bowled in that innings, the first ball was a boundary. And that really kills you.
Well,
and 2 of those
yeah.
were 6s. So that's 20 runs off 6 balls before we've even got into the rest.
Well, again, straight away, it puts a pressure on the bowler. And then suddenly you're trying to catch up over. The first ball and the last ball are so important. And again, opposition teams, they target that first ball. You see that in T20 all the time, or the last ball. You're trying to get a 4 or a 6. So the bowler has to come up with their best ball first and 6th time. So, again, lots to learn for some of these teams here that have assembled under the blazing sun of Spain at the Manga club. Lots of great experiences. I'm sure they'll have plenty of things to talk about.
So V.O.C. Rotterdam, of course, the victors today, and Avashi is down pitch side with Scott Edwards.
Well, with me is... What? All right, with me it's Scott Edwards, and I don't know, somebody's distracting me on the left. Get out. Thank you very much for joining us, and a good play.
Yeah, no, it was a great day for us. So 2 from 2, which is, you know, the perfect start to the tournament, I suppose. I think we were probably a little bit dusty in that first game. We didn't quite get where we wanted to, but I think we sort of hit our straps in that last game, so it was good.
Yeah, and 88 was never going to be a big challenge for you.
Yeah, well, it's one of those niggly little totals, I think. So we thought, you know, if we can get off to a quick flying start, you know, we should be able to sort of cruise through at the end. So it worked out well in the end.
But the openers got out one after the other.
Yeah, that wasn't ideal. We spoke about it, and I spoke to Peter, and I said, I'm just going to keep going. You know, it's a T10. You know, you can't really have that chance to restart. So, you know, it just happened.
And does it help that the captain came in next?
Yeah, absolutely. He's rock solid, and he's, you know, been in those situations, you know, many times for us, and he takes us through all the time. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for joining us, and wish you all the best for the rest of the tournament. And joining me now is Peter Saylor, the captain, leading from the front. Thank you very much for joining us. Looking rather happy. Had a great day, right?
Yeah, very, very good day. I mean, 2 out of 2, you can't ask for much more.
Even won the tosses.
Yeah, that's a very much surprise. I think Kemba probably said something about it. No, I lose quite a bit, so quite happy to go 2 from 2.
And of course, talking about your performance, and not just your own performance, but even for the team, you think everything's coming together really well for you?
Well, if we look at what we did today, first game we weren't quite as on the money as we would like. But I think the second game, our bowling was outstanding. And Ashikula Saeed, probably for the 2 days, going for 7 and probably not much more today, I think that's a match-winning performance for me. He's been bowling really well. Other guys always chipping in, and I thought also our fielding was a little bit better than the first game.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, because I remember you calling it rubbish fielding in the first, but you're happy with the second time around.
Yeah. It's, the thing is, we always look not to drop catches. No one does it on purposely, but in the first game we dropped 3, and I think in the space of 10 overs it's a little bit too much. What I will say is that on this ground it's tough with the ground tendency, with more guys struggling, but I thought we were very good today.
Yeah. And also talking about the total itself, Scott said that it's a niggly little total. You know, it could work for your favor. It's not too high, but it's not like a 60 either.
Well, I would say niggly. I think the teams have now seen you need to score at least 100, I think, to be in the game. Where I think I wouldn't say niggly because you're just going to go hard, and no team is going to go and try and score that in 10 overs. Everyone's going to try and beat that in 7 or 8 overs, and so did we. And like I said to Scott, as he came in, he was like, "What do you want me to do?" It's like, "Well, you're hitting them quite well, so you just keep going."
And also 1 wicket for you, so that's great too.
That's fantastic. Yeah, that's well. In the end, I think it's more a dot ball than anything else. But yeah, it's always great to get wickets under your belt. I mean,
thank you. No complaints at all. But thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much. No worries.
All right, it's back to you guys.
Thanks, V.O.C. So, a couple of interviews there with Peter Saylor and Scott Edwards, who'll both be pretty happy with their day's work. Saylor starring with a couple of not-outs to finish things off, 25 off 11 today. And we got a bit of a taste of the 6-hitting master, Jelte Schoenheim.
Jelte Schoenheim. His dad is 74 years of age.
Oh, yes.
He still plays. What a legend he is of Dutch cricket.
And it's stories like that that bring the...
Makes it great. You know, it's a family club down at V.O.C. They pride themselves on being a family club, and you know the dad plays. Everyone comes down, everyone watches. If you see, you know, on the sidelines, there's a family runs the club. It's awesome.
And as for the Cluj boys, Taranjeet Singh picked up 2 wickets in an over, and that was the moment where you thought maybe this game could change. And then instead, Saylor and Schoenheim just ruthlessly finished it off. I mean, some of those bowling figures are just
ugly. Is
yeah.
that the word? Ugly?
Well, everybody's economy rate is in double figures, and Pisal and Mishra particularly got some real tap. Let's have a look at the highlights from V.O.C. Rotterdam's run chase, which was a pretty comfortable one in truth. Set very nicely up early on by the 2 openers, Edwards and O'Dowd, and once they went, everyone else in terms of Saylor and Schoenheim carried it through.
Yeah, it was quite noticeable early on. They dropped a little bit short, the Cluj bowlers, and these players, they're pretty used to some pace and bounce in wickets, so you know they were pretty happy with that. They got on a bit of a roll. Scotty Edwards particularly down to the fine leg side of the ground that he likes. A couple of chances went down, which was obviously not great for Cluj. Just gave the momentum towards V.O.C, and once you get rolling, it's very hard to stop. Here was the big wicket of O'Dowd. We suddenly saw O'Dowd and Scotty Edwards dismissed in the same over. And like you said, what if we lost another wicket? Who knows? But then Peter Saylor just came in and absolutely finished it off nicely.
When you say what if we, I assume you mean what if they, but...
Well, I'm in the middle of everyone. I love everyone. I'm a commentator. I don't...
But,
I love Transylvania. I love Dracula.
No, I mean, no one would blame you, of course, for having an affinity towards him, of course, as the Netherlands head coach. And a club with a hell of a lot of history, V.O.C. Rotterdam, the 1895 on their crest, a football and a cricket club. And that's kind of what the European Cricket League is about. It's about getting these multi-sport clubs to maybe think, well, you know what? Should we have a cricket club as part of our organisation as well? Because of the prestige of a tournament like this and the magnificent trophy up on offer.
Well, just, you know, speaking about the Cluj club, it's a massive club in Romania. I think handball is a big sport for them, and a few other things. So, of course, multi-sport venues, we've got to make the most of our space in some of these countries.
So, to summarise this game then, V.O.C. Rotterdam chasing it comfortably enough, 88 for 2. 87 for 5 was all that Cluj could post, dominated by 42 off 26 from Taranjeet Singh. Wicket shared around for the V.O.C. boys, but Max O'Dowd got that big wicket of Taranjeet, the leg spin turning away from the right-hander, doing for him, caught out holding on the fence. Taranjeet Singh with a couple of wickets in the same over, but in truth, V.O.C. Rotterdam always look pretty in control of the run chase. They've got 2 wins from 2. And I make it on the permutations that guarantees them a semi-final spot. Yeah,
and that's the first part of their business, of course, is qualifying for the finals. It appears they've done that. Again, they've got a pretty big fixture tomorrow where we're going to find out a little bit more about the competition when they take on Svanholm. And of course, once they're in the semis, the pressure of a final, you never know. One bad shot early, one run out, one mix-up, who knows?
Absolutely. 2 groups of 4. 2 go into the semi-finals. First from Group A plays second from Group B, and vice versa. And it all culminates in the final. For now, though, that's Game 5 from the brand new European Cricket League wrapped up. I've been Michael McCann. Ryan Campbell's been alongside me. In not too long, don't forget, it will be the last game of the day from Group B. Brescia, JJ Brescia from Italy up against SG Findorf, also known as Bremen Cricket Club from Germany. That's on at 7 p.m. Central European time, wherever you are across the world. Or to keep it more simple, it all gets going in about half an hour, and our coverage will resume in 20 minutes or so. But for now, it's goodbye.